Hello, welcome to the Illuminating Crossroads community. My name's Lisette, and today is our illumination conversation. So I have been sitting in meditation and contemplation, and there was a few things that came through, and I wrote some notes down, and I just wanted to share. So the key words for today is creativity, cosmic fire, transformation, and inner temple. So if you'd like, you can grab some tea, grab some water, and just enjoy this chat and conversation. So the first thing that I want to speak about is right now, if we are experiencing any triggers, if you're experiencing any triggers, that as I was sitting and really heavily kind of contemplating this Mercury retrograde in Aries that will be coming up soon, we're going to enter the pre-shadow period on March 18th, there was just this insight that all of these things that may cause anger or frustration, even sadness, that these are parts that are coming up, that are arising, and really asking us to listen, to notice how can we create this space for healing to take place at a deeper level that maybe we didn't fully acknowledge that we desired or needed. And what does it mean to allow this heat, this fire, to be a lighting source, to allow some of these shadows to be illuminated, if you will, and to be transmuted, or to be regenerated, to be transformed. So that was definitely like a really big thing that was coming up. So just keeping in mind as we move through the rest of this month and in April, this is really a good time to just honor that whatever is arising, it's okay, holding yourself in compassion and resourcing like support if it's needed. Or desired, and knowing that it's okay to ask for support, and to also not get agitated or annoyed if you're having these tough times, and if there is a lack of communication and others aren't really understanding what you're experiencing or what you're going through, then just remembering that like communicating within a place that's illuminating, and then that's supportive as it's sharing a light, and not being in this space of a fire that's like burning others with your words. So in regards to the fire, so there's also the essence of creativity. It was so beautiful today. I was holding space for a virtual class that I do, and as I was playing the singing bowls, we focused on our solar plexus for today because it was a sound healing meditation, and it was really beautiful because this essence of creativity, I almost felt this creative essence like truly within each of our energy centers. And I know normally we tend to, or at least from what I have observed from my lens of perspective, creativity is more like sacral and throat energy centers. But it was just so beautiful to see the creativity in regards to the solar plexus, and also just thinking like if we are in true co-creation and remembering that we're like creative beings, and we're like being more embodied in our sovereignty as well, the creative, like that creative fire, that nature, it really does flow throughout like every energy center. So almost this invitation in like whatever is arising in these triggers or whatever may be taking place, you can utilize creativity as an outlet. And you can also try and find ways that, like, you can get your inner flames to, like, dance and to flow and to not be, I guess, like, enraged or, like, full of, like, anger or rage or resentment or what have you, but to alchemize this fire essence and to also allow for, like, cleansing and purifying within each of the energy centers within your body as well. So just to allow a bit more flow, that is something that might be supportive. And on that note, in whatever is arising, there may need to be a bit of, like, grieving and mourning, if you will, as we allow these old stories really to come up to the surface, to be let go of, to be acknowledged, really. There's an honoring and an acknowledgement and almost like lighting a candle in remembrance to all these old parts of self that maybe, like, you're ready to let go of, that you've still been continuing to hold on to, but then to acknowledge that, like, they are being transformed, they're being reintegrated, hopefully, in a more wholesome way, or, like, more holistically, if you will, to where it's no longer just running in the background of whatever this emotional body or essence is that has been present, that has been causing just irritation, really, or even sadness, or whatever it might be for you. So to just see how can you, like, honor the closing of whatever chapters are ready to be closed right now. And especially, I'm going to do a video on its own for Mercury retrograde, but I just feel really called to emphasize, because since we are having Mercury retrograde in Aries, and it's so cool, I've been studying a little bit of ray-centered astrology, and in ray-centered astrology, it's more like esoteric based, so it's kind of focusing on, like, your inner landscape and your, like, soul's evolution. So for the ray-centered astrology, Aries is not ruled by Mars, but ruled by Mercury, which I think is, like, honestly, when I heard that, I felt like I was like, that, I resonate with that. And traditionally, Aries' planetary ruler is Mars. So it's just, yeah, this is just a different lens of perception. But anywho, so I say this to say, because I feel like at this time, we are being given the invitation to remember our creative nature, to remember our personal empowerment, to remember what it is to stand in our light, to be in our authenticity, to share our truth, to share our wisdom that we've gathered. And I believe that this upcoming time astrologically, and plus this retrograde taking place with the eclipses, this is such a great time to really ground and anchor into a new foundation within the thought form of our mind, of how we're co-creating our reality. and really thinking about what are our passions and what brings us joy and what's activating our fire in this loving way that allows this gentle but fierce and also like maybe explosive, but explosive in a way that's just like, it's just this beautiful like dance or like creative expression that just, it just really speaks so deeply to the essence of our beings. Just some food for thought in maybe reflecting or contemplating what it is that has been arising. How can you take these triggers or these tougher spots or these spots that cause discomfort and allow this holding and like shifting and unveiling whatever it is that's ready to be unveiled, and then to reintegrate this essence and to honor the lessons and the medicine that came from it. And my next like bullet point that I have says elevating negative thought forms, so transmuting. So I feel like I kind of already touched on that. So, but to just really emphasize like what are the thought patterns that are taking place right now, and if they are of lower expressions or they're just not in love. Like we can feel when our thoughts aren't necessarily in love. And a beautiful practice that I've been doing for myself, if I have a thought that comes in, well, first off, I've been asking myself, is this my thought or is this like someone else's? Because that helps us build discernment, and also to just acknowledge, like, is this even something that I like need to be attaching to or even digging through, or is this something that I can just let go? And then if it's something that maybe just keeps coming up, or if it's like, no, yeah, that's like coming from in here somewhere, then just taking whatever it is that is being said in this diluted essence of love and allowing yourself to hold it and see like how can you say a dialogue in that moment, be it internally or externally, that like pours into that essence, so then it can be infused with more love. And even though like sometimes we might have a bunch of like things that just come in and bombard us and we can feel like we're heavy and it's just like a lot and it's overwhelming, just remembering to breathe and to have these like grounding anchors in affirmations or even like movement and different practices that allow for flow and for remembrance, really, of not being those thoughts that are coming in, and reconnecting to this groundedness of being in your body and of allowing the mind to be a supportive resource within experience. The next thing that I wrote that I really think is so important, as I was just like reflecting, I thought to myself, like, when we're experiencing, let's say, tough spots in relationships with others or even with ourselves, are we experiencing those things because we are truly present in the now with what is actually taking place? Or are we experiencing these tough spots because we're still stuck in an old storyline that once was, but then when we come to the now moment, it's no longer presently like that? And I say this because I think that we forget that we change, and other people in our lives also change. So remembering to just really tune into what is the actual present story, like what's right now, and to allow that to be the grounding anchor, so then the mind's not just like running off with all these stories which may have been a truth at one point but might not be a truth right now. So just giving self the invitation to see what is the present truth that I feel and know in my heart of hearts and just within my body, like, of what's actually taking place, and not allowing these extra illusions or other things to come in and cause confusion when there doesn't have to be. So I just thought that was really nice. And then also just honoring if we are, having tough spots within ourselves or with other people in our life, how can we also like acknowledge, okay, well, what is present now within these relationships, self or other, and how can we find acceptance and forgiveness for the past things that have taken place, and to just really acknowledge, to hold those things, and to just allow for like them to be like composted, so new stories can be built and written, if you will, and you can just allow a letting go, and a letting go that is a true, like, okay, this is like, I honor this is done, this is over, and I'm moving forward. So there's no like whiplash and back and forth and all that stuff that happens sometimes. And with that said, the last thing I wrote down was grounding and boundaries. So with all of this just movement really of healing, of honoring, of acknowledging, of presence, really being rooted and grounded in the body, and finding what works for you to be present within the body, and honoring what it looks like for you, and knowing that if what grounding for you doesn't look like what it does for someone else, that is fine, because we all have a different essence and we're each unique. So it's just honoring what that means for you to be grounded, to really be within this physical realm that we chose to be a part of, so we can support with this light, and just pouring into the collective consciousness. And with boundaries, just really remembering to take moments to self, to note if where you're placing your energy, if it's in spaces where it's just leaking, or if you're in places where like your energy is still being held within its I don't want to say container, but it's being held, and there's this like just this, I don't want to say respect, but just acknowledgement and a knowing of like, this is what's mine, this is what's not mine, this is what I'm capable of doing, I'm not capable of doing this at the moment, and just being truthful. And I think communication is going to be like even like more so important like for the rest of this month and into the next month, and just thinking how Mercury like rules over communication as well. So yeah. So just remembering that communicating what your needs are, how you're feeling, how you're doing, and just being transparent and really being like vulnerable, really, I feel, is kind of what it comes down to, because in this essence of vulnerability, then there's truth and there's knowingness, and there's also that authenticity of allowing another to see you for what is truly, like, what's truly present at that moment. So I hope all of that made sense. And if you happen to watch this until the end, thank you. If you'd like to join the Illuminating Crossroads community, love to have you. So you can subscribe if you want to like the video, if you want to leave a comment below, if anything pinged for you, or if there's stuff that's been coming up in your meditations and contemplations, I would love to hear it. But otherwise, I hope that you take care, and many blessings to you until next time. Thank you. Bye.